Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial, and today's review will be Power, Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 3, Episode 7. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So this is like a filler episode. Some things went on just to push the story forward. It's kind of like a filler, even though it was one kill. So the episode starts off with Paul at his house and Ronnie and his goons kicking the door, snatch Paul up, and pretty much take Paul to Kanan. And in the process of taking him to Kanan, they pretty much approach Paul to let him know, pretty much, that was stuff you said about going to the cops, that ain't a good look for you. So, of course, Ronnie and them are adults, and Kanan's still a teenager, so Ronnie and them got involved. And so, in the process of them talking to Paul, having a discussion, it makes it look like Kanan the boss, with them, Ronnie bringing Paul to them. Famous comes in to pick up his stuff. Now, after Paul urinated on himself, Ronnie walked him out, and pretty much Kanan told Famous, you need to get yourself and get going before we get back. So in the process of that, Famous was getting his stuff. He still got the darn gun that he used that killed Freddy. So something's going to come back with that. So pretty much Famous said he's going to stay with his mom. So the trailer the clip that's been going around the internet shows Ronnie approaching Famous, pretty much telling him, like, why you not staying here? He pretty much said, I'm going back with my mom. And he like, well, what for? He's like, because she misses me. And then Ronnie was like, well, what's so special about you that your mom misses you? And he said, because I'm her son. And so Ronnie pretty much was like, I got a mom and she don't miss me. And pretty much Ronnie told him, Kanan told me, you like to talk. That's why your mom like you and miss you. And so he pretty much pumped some fear into Famous. And then what happened was Kanan was behind behind Ronnie. And Kanan seen the pressure that was going on Famous. That's still his boy, got love for him. So he pretty much stepped in and was like, Famous is he's alright. He keep his mouth shut for the most part. You ain't got to worry about him. And if he did, Famous up. Now, what I took from that is a foreshadow of Kanan's going to be the one to kill Famous. I just see it. I don't see it happening no other way. I just see Kanan's going to be the one to put Famous down, and it's going to be somebody that forces Kanan to do it. So then it goes to Rock meeting with Unique's old connect that pretty much that he talked his way to grab the connect. The connect didn't want to deal with him at first, deal with Rock at first, but Rock talked her stuff and pretty much he agreed to deal with her. So of course he got the one operation, and Rock's like, we need more than that to get this thing going. So she shows up to that Chinese restaurant and pretty much spoke to the people. They were standoffish, pretty much said they didn't want to do it because they didn't know what happened with Unique. And Rock pretty much said that wasn't because of business, that was like basically more personal. So they expressed that his uncle had more restaurants, and they said, where's your uncle at? When can we meet him? And they pretty much said, my uncle's right there, you meet him right now. So they sat down with the uncle, they meaning Rock and Marvin, sat down with the uncle and pretty much talked about business and talked about expanding. The uncle pretty much said, I want a percentage of what the profits you get. Rock pretty much said, well, I need to go check your locations. So he gave her the location. So before that happened, before that meet and greet happened, Marvin went to go see Gerald. And in the process of seeing Gerald, he seen Gerald's daughters in a car just sitting. So he went and said, what y'all doing in the car? And they said the dad told them to stay in the car. So it's cold outside, so he told them to come in the house. They knocked on the door. Marvin knocked on the door. Gerald came and answered the door. Gerald's high out of his mind, got the track marks from the shooting up. Marvin pretty much blasted them, cleaned up, cooked for the kids, made them cookies and stuff like that. And so Marvin, his character is a 360. So we already know what they building Marvin up to be, for everybody to root for Marvin and like Marvin's character, to basically snatch his soul. So Marvin going to either go to jail or get killed, either one. That's his fate. Nevertheless, he pretty much went at Gerald, talked Gerald head off, let him know, like, man, you got to pull yourself together. You find out that Gerald, the daughters don't have a mom. Pretty much the mom was strung out on drugs as well. And Gerald doesn't have no family that's willing to help him because he burned his bridges. And he said something that was profound. And this is going on with the crack epidemic that hit the 80s and it hit a lot of communities. And this just is showing that it hit more than just the black communities in this. You also see that people that come from that era and you experienced it, when the effects that it had on families. You had uncles and aunts who you grew up with that stole from the family, and it resonated with Gerald said what he said, because those aunt and uncles, even though you loved them, they stole from the family, so you didn't want them, you couldn't trust them to be around in your house, especially without you not looking over your shoulder what they were capable of doing, stealing from you. They didn't care who they was trying to steal for, because they was trying to get a hit. So that resonated when Gerald said that. Nevertheless, back to the show. So from there, you had Detective Howard is at the precinct, and he's talking to the FBI agent. FBI agent is asking him about Marvin, giving him information, and he giving him some information, but not a lot. And so he seen Scrap mom come into the office. He intervened, told the detective that was Gary speak to Scrap mom that the FBI agent wanted to talk to him. And pretty much the detective didn't want to deal with Scrap's mom. So Howard stepped in, talked to Scrap's mom. Of course, she told him everything that Lulu told her. And he pretty much told her, keep her mouth shut. Don't talk to no other cops about it, because the word don't need to get out that you snitching. So after speaking with her, she told him everything that Lulu said. He meets up with Rock, pretty much tell Rock what your brother said. Now Rock said, you only involved in this because it falls back on you, because you got information wrong on Scrap. So she's like, I'm gonna handle Lou. And Rock asked Howard if he knew anything about the FBI agent, if they had anything, who they was underneath. So he didn't tell her that Marvin's on their list, and there's a lot of connecting dots that they didn't there was a lot of connecting dots that they ain't speaking on. So you see, he didn't tell Rock that, so it's gonna be something up with that. He's planning on her. Rock is gonna have to get at Howard at some point. So Famous goes back to his house with his mom. They got love for each other. He brought the gun into her house and hid it in a shoebox. Stupid. He should have got rid of the gun. So that gun is going to come back to haunt Famous. He didn't get rid of the gun. He still got it, and he brought it in his mom's house. Big fail. So we see where that's coming. The mom pretty much apologized to him. He apologized to her, and she pretty much told him don't worry about it, consoling him like a mother would. So from there you had the girl group, Juke, and pretty much they were getting a photo shoot. They got a performance coming up at the mall, and they're gonna open up for Shanice. And their manager pretty much said that she wants pictures of them with each one in the front to see who looks the best. So of course Crystal jumps out the front and trying to pose as the lead, while Juke and Aisha play the back. So there was a moment where after rehearsal, Kanan was talking to Crystal, and Aisha was puking in the restroom, and pretty much Juke was like, "I got you," and they had a little conversation there. And when they came out, of course, Kanan was talking to Crystal, and Crystal was pushing up. So Kanan was coming to get Aisha to go to the movies, and Juke pretty much told Crystal back off. Aisha's with Kanan, and Crystal told her F her. So Juke just had this little smirk. So when they went to the movies, Aisha and Kanan was pushing up aggressive. Aisha wasn't with it. Kanan pretty much was like, all right. And so Aisha's like, well, I need to go home. I'm ready to go. So Kanan was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm sitting here watching this movie. She says, you ain't gonna go with me? And Kanan was like, no. So it shows Kanan's having that spirit. So then it shows Rock pretty much doing her recon and research, scaling all the uncles' different locations and businesses, and seeing how everything is run, and seeing how everything is coming in and out, and seeing how that's going to help her operation, see how she can run her operation. So once Juke found out that what Kanan did, she went looking for Kanan. Of course, they got goons in front of the Kanan's apartment now. Now, when Juke pretty much showing her toughness, that she ain't afraid of nobody, but it's not really believable right now. So we gotta see the savage Juke come out. It's not really believable when you see this character, this build up, this moment right here is not believable. But she's showing her toughness. They let her in. She pretty much approached Kanan like pretty much approached Kanan basically saying, you know, this ain't you, and I told you don't do that to Aisha. And she's like, he pretty much told her she more of your speed anyway. She too young. And she said, you can mess this up, this group, you can mess my group up. So Kanan's like, y'all, Butter's gonna be alright, y'all gonna be cool. And so from there, Juke was pretty much telling Kanan, you know, you just a scared little boy trying to prove to your mom that you're a man. So she hitting him where it hurts home, because she know him, that's her cousin, pretty much saying, I've been watching you or on you since you had snot coming from your nose. So there was a moment where well, no, let me finish this one. So then after Juke left, Ronnie said I could go talk to her, and Kanan got in active mode and got defensive, and pretty much said, you don't got no business with her. You don't got no business with me and my family. And pretty much jumped at Ronnie, pretty much basically saying, you don't approach my family. So you can see where it's going brewing, where Kanan gonna have to decide between his family or Ronnie. Of course, we know Kanan gonna choose his family, of course, and get Ronnie up out of here. Same way where Tyreek had to choose his family or Kanan, and he set Kanan up. So it showed what we were all seeing. We seen Juliana into Ronnie. So Juliana was kissing on Ronnie at Pernissa and Unique's home. Pernissa comes in the home pretty much saying, and Ronnie was like, "What you doing here?" And she was pretty much, "This still me and Unique's home." And he said, you with your mom now." And she was pretty much saying, "What the woman from the bodega doing here?" And so he was like, get your stuff and roll," pretty much. And he said it with aggression. So you wondering why she even talking slick to Ronnie after he didn't already showed you what type time he on, after he didn't snatch Unique's jewelry and Unique's belongings. So Juliana pretty much told her, you can't take her for granted because she's your family and she could be worse, especially if she's your enemy. She doesn't like you. So he made that made him think. He pretty much showed up to Pernissa's mom's house, pretty much letting her know that, yo, don't play with me. You know, Jerome got left, so you better take heed. And she was like, I gotta get going, Ronnie. So he gave her the fair warning. Then Howard, pretty much Detective Burke's father, came to pick up her stuff. He was mourning for his daughter still, of course. Howard told him, if anything I could do, just let me know. So the father finally reached out to Burke's girlfriend, and she pretty much told him at this moment she don't have nothing else to say, because of course Howard already reached out to her, told her, if it's anything, reach out to me. So she ain't really much had too much to say to the dad at this point. She just said, anything about Howard I don't want to talk about, and she let it go. And then he pretty much stand off. But there's something going to brew with that situation now. Howard pretty much got the position that he was looking for. The paperwork is in, but they got to do some final steps where they look through his background and talk to whoever to see who don't like Howard. Pretty much something's going to come up with that background. So Howard was pretty much like worried, like, oh man, what exactly are they going to dig up? So Marvin pretty much approached Lou, told Lou what he did. Lou didn't know what he did because he was drunk, and they pretty much told Howard, you need to handle the mess up that you did with telling Scrap's mom. So Marvin took Scrap to Scrap's mom. No, I said Marvin took Scrap. Marvin took Lulu to Scrap's mom, pretty much told him handle business. She opened the door for Lulu. He walked in, had a gun faced to her, killed her, and ended that. That was the end of her. So we knew that was coming. Then it showed Kanan show up to Crystal house, and Crystal pretty much told Kanan, he said, you know, it was bold of you to call me up. And she said, oh, you like that? Oh, I'm going to show you real bold. So Kanan, I guess, going to knock down Crystal. Other than that, that was the episode in a nutshell. It was decent and pushed the storyline forward. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.